You sit quietly after another meeting, replaying the moment you stayed silent, even though you knew exactly what you wanted to say. Your chest still feels tight, your mind keeps repeating the words you should have used, and you wonder why your thoughts always seem clearer after the conversation is over. By the end of this audiobook, you will know how to speak with calm confidence, explain your ideas clearly, earn respect without raising your voice, and communicate like the top leaders who make every word count. You do not need a special personality or a perfect voice. You need a simple system that you can practice every day. It begins with one mistake almost everyone makes before they even say their first sentence. Chapter 1. Recognize why clear speaking changes your daily life. You are sitting in a meeting. You finally decide to speak. You know what you want to say. It sounded clear in your mind just a few seconds ago. Then the words come out too fast. You stop in the middle of a sentence. You change your point. Someone interrupts. Another person speaks with confidence, and the conversation moves on without you. You stay quiet for the rest of the meeting. Later that day, while driving home or lying in bed, you think of the perfect words you wish you had said. That moment stays with you longer than the meeting itself. This happens to many people. It is not because they are not smart. It is not because they have nothing to offer. The problem is often much simpler. Your mouth has not been trained to express what your mind already knows. Thinking and speaking are different skills. One happens in private. The other happens in front of people. Your brain works differently when other people are watching. You become more aware of yourself. You begin checking every word before you say it. That delay breaks your flow. Many people believe confident speakers were born that way. They were not. They practiced more than others. They spoke even when they felt nervous. They accepted small mistakes instead of trying to sound perfect. Over time, their words became clearer because they stopped fighting themselves. The biggest enemy of clear speaking is not a lack of vocabulary, it is the habit of trying to sound impressive. When you try to sound smarter than you feel, your brain carries two jobs at once. It must think about your idea and also judge how you sound. That extra work slows everything down. Simple words are faster. Simple words are easier to remember. Simple words help other people understand you. Clear speaking starts with clear thinking. Before you open your mouth, you need one main point. Not 3, not 5, 1. People lose attention when a speaker jumps from one idea to another. If your message is simple, your listener can follow it without effort. Many people also speak too quickly because they are afraid of silence. They believe every second must be filled with words. That belief creates pressure. Then the words begin to race. The faster you speak, the harder it becomes to choose the right sentence. A short pause is not a failure. It is a sign that you are thinking before speaking. You cannot control how people react to your words. Some people will agree. Some will disagree. Some will not pay attention. That is part of life. Your responsibility is not to control every reaction. Your responsibility is to speak honestly and clearly. When you accept this, much of your fear begins to disappear. Today, start with one small exercise. Before every important conversation, stop for 10 seconds. During those 10 seconds, ask yourself one question. What is the one thing I want this person to remember? Do not think about sounding confident. Do not think about being interesting. Think only about your main point. When you know your destination, your words have a better chance of reaching it. After those 10 seconds, speak one sentence before adding another. Finish your first thought completely. Do not interrupt yourself. Many people stop halfway because they suddenly think of a better sentence. Keep going. Finish the first idea, then move to the next one. This trains your brain to stay organized while speaking. Pay attention to your speed. Most people never notice how fast they talk. Use your breathing to guide your pace. Breathe in before your first sentence. Finish your thought. Breathe again. You do not need to rush. People understand calm speech better than fast speech. Tomorrow, practice with everyday conversations. Talk to the cashier. Speak to a neighbor. Call a friend. Choose one short topic. Keep it simple. Focus on speaking clearly instead of speaking for a long time. 5 clear sentences are better than 50 confusing ones. After each conversation, spend 1 minute thinking about it. Ask yourself 3 questions. Did I finish my thoughts? Did I speak at a calm speed? Did the other person understand me without asking many questions? Do not judge yourself. Just notice what happened. Honest observation builds improvement. Many people avoid speaking because they remember past mistakes. They replay embarrassing moments over and over. That habit steals confidence from today. Yesterday cannot be changed. Every speaker has said something awkward. Every leader has forgotten words. Every teacher has made mistakes. Those moments do not define your future unless you keep feeding them. Your brain learns through repetition. Every time you practice clear speaking, you strengthen that skill a little more. The improvement may feel small from one day to the next. That is normal. Real growth often feels slow while it is happening. The important thing is consistency. This week, create a daily speaking habit. Set aside 10 minutes. Pick any simple topic. Describe your morning. Explain how to cook a meal. Talk about your favorite place to relax. Speak out loud. Do not whisper. Do not only think the words. Your mouth must practice producing them. Speaking is a physical skill as much as a mental one. Record yourself during these practice sessions. Many people dislike hearing their own voice. That feeling is normal. Listen anyway. Pay attention to one thing only. Can you understand your message easily? Ignore whether your voice sounds perfect. Focus on clarity. You are training communication, not performance. As the days pass, notice your filler words. Words like and repeated phrases often appear because your brain needs extra time. Do not fight them with frustration. Replace them with silence. If you need 2 seconds to think, stay quiet for 2 seconds. Silence is cleaner than unnecessary words. Your posture also affects your speech. Stand or sit with your back straight. Keep both feet steady if you are standing. Relax your shoulders. Tension in your body often appears in your voice. A calmer body supports calmer speech. You do not need dramatic movements. Small physical control creates better verbal control. Good speaking also begins with good listening. When someone else is talking, give them your full attention. Do not prepare your reply while they are still speaking. Listen until they finish. Then answer their actual words. People trust speakers who first show respect through listening. You may worry about saying the wrong thing. That worry never disappears completely. Even experienced speakers feel it sometimes. The difference is that they speak anyway. Courage is not the absence of discomfort. Courage is doing your duty while discomfort is still present. Your duty is to communicate as clearly as you can. There will be conversations that do not go well. Someone may misunderstand you. Someone may interrupt you. Someone may disagree strongly. Accept those moments without anger. You cannot force another person to listen. You can only improve the quality of your own words and your own behavior. A man named David struggled every week during team meetings. He usually stayed quiet because he feared making mistakes. He decided to change one habit. Before each meeting, he wrote one sentence that captured his main point. When it was his turn to speak, he looked at that sentence in his mind and said it slowly. He did not try to impress anyone. He simply explained his idea. At first, he spoke for less than a minute. Within a few weeks, people started asking for his opinion more often because they understood him the first time. That change did not happen because David became more intelligent. He was already capable. He simply trained himself to speak with order instead of pressure. His confidence grew after his actions changed, not before. This is how confidence usually works. Action comes first, belief follows later. You already have experiences worth sharing. You already have ideas that can help someone. Clear speaking is not about becoming another person. It is about expressing what is already inside you with honesty and discipline. Every conversation is another chance to practice. Your words shape your work. your relationships, and your reputation over time. People cannot respond to ideas they never hear. They cannot understand thoughts you never express. Speaking clearly gives your effort a fair chance to be seen. Starting today, speak one little bit better than yesterday. Finish every thought. Slow your pace. Use simple words. Accept small mistakes without stopping. Repeat this every day for 1 week. Do it even when you do not feel confident. Your challenge is simple. Before this day ends, have one conversation where your only goal is to be clear, calm, and complete from your first sentence to your last. Chapter 2. Build strong confidence before you open your mouth. You are about to speak. Everyone turns toward you. Your heart beats faster. Your mouth feels dry. The idea in your head is simple, but the moment you begin talking, your voice sounds weaker than you expected. You hear yourself saying words you did not plan to use. You stop to correct yourself. The silence feels longer than it really is. By the time you finish, you wonder if anyone understood your point. As you sit back down, one thought keeps repeating in your mind. Why do I always sound better in my head than when I speak? This feeling is common. It happens in classrooms, meetings, family conversations, and job interviews. Many people believe they lack confidence because they feel nervous. The truth is different. Feeling nervous is normal. Confidence is not the absence of nervousness. Confidence is the habit of acting well, even while your body feels uncomfortable. Your brain is designed to notice risk. Speaking in front of other people feels like a risk because your mind knows you may be judged. Long ago, being accepted by a group was important for survival. Even today, your brain reacts as if rejection is a serious danger. Your heart beats faster, your muscles tighten, your breathing changes. These reactions are automatic. They are not proof that you are weak. They are simply your body's natural response. The problem begins when you believe those physical feelings are a sign to stay quiet. You mistake discomfort for danger. Then, every time you avoid speaking, your brain learns the wrong lesson. It believes silence kept you safe. The next time you need to speak, the fear becomes even stronger. This cycle continues until staying quiet becomes a habit. Confidence grows in the opposite direction. Every time you speak, despite feeling nervous, your brain learns something new. It learns that nothing terrible happened. It learns that you survived the moment. Over time, your fear becomes smaller because your experience becomes larger. Many people wait to feel confident before they speak. They think confidence comes first and action comes later. Real life works differently. Action comes first. Confidence follows repeated action. The people who appear calm during important conversations were not born with a special gift. They built that calm through practice. Another mistake is comparing yourself with experienced speakers. You watch someone speak smoothly and assume they never struggled. What you see is only the result. You do not see the years of practice, the awkward conversations, the forgotten words, or the mistakes they made in private. Comparing your beginning to someone else's experience only creates unnecessary pressure. You also lose confidence when you expect perfection. You tell yourself every sentence must sound intelligent. Every answer must be complete. Every word must be correct. That expectation is impossible. Even skilled speakers pause. Even skilled speakers correct themselves. People rarely remember small mistakes. They remember whether your message was useful and honest. Your goal is not to become perfect. Your goal is to become reliable. Reliable speakers say what they mean. They stay calm when something goes wrong. They continue speaking instead of giving up after one mistake. The first action starts today. Before every conversation that matters, prepare one clear sentence. Not an entire speech, just one sentence that expresses your main point. Say that sentence out loud 3 times before the conversation begins. Speak slowly. Listen to your own voice. This gives your brain a familiar starting point. When the conversation begins, you already know how you will open. Next, change how you look at nervous feelings. When your heart beats faster, Stop calling it fear. Tell yourself it is energy. Your body is preparing you to pay attention. You do not need to remove the feeling. You only need to stop fighting it. Take one slow breath through your nose. Breathe out gently. Then begin speaking before your mind creates more excuses. Another helpful step is lowering your first goal. Many people try to impress everyone in the room. That goal creates pressure you cannot control. Replace it with a better goal. Help one person understand one idea. That goal depends on your effort, not on everyone's opinion. Tomorrow, create a simple confidence exercise. Stand in front of a mirror for 5 minutes. Pick one everyday topic. Talk about your breakfast. Explain your morning routine. Describe something you learned recently. Keep your eyes on yourself. Do not rush. Speak as if you are explaining something to a friend. This is not about looking confident. It is about becoming comfortable hearing your own voice. When you finish, do not ask whether you sounded impressive. Ask better questions. Did I finish my sentences? Did I stay calm? Did I speak clearly enough that another person could understand me? Those questions help you improve. The wrong questions only feed self-doubt. The next day, record yourself speaking for 2 minutes. Most people avoid this because they dislike hearing their own voice. That discomfort is temporary. Listen to the recording only once. Notice one thing to improve. Maybe you spoke too fast. Maybe your voice became too quiet near the end. Choose only one habit to fix. Trying to improve everything at once usually leads to frustration. This week, speak a little more often than usual. Ask one extra question during a meeting. Share one opinion during lunch. Start one conversation with someone you normally only greet. Small actions matter because they create evidence. Every successful conversation tells your brain that speaking is becoming normal. Do not measure success by how confident you felt. Measure success by whether you spoke when you intended to speak. Feelings change from day to day. Actions build your future. If you waited until you felt completely ready, you would spend much of your life waiting. Pay attention to your inner voice. Many people criticize themselves before anyone else has the chance. They think, I will sound foolish. Nobody wants to hear me. I always make mistakes. These thoughts feel true because they are repeated so often. They are not facts, they are habits. Replace them with simple facts instead. I prepared my idea. I can speak one sentence at a time. I do not need to be perfect. Facts calm the mind better than empty praise. Confidence also depends on keeping promises to yourself. If you decide to practice every day, then practice every day. If you decide to speak once during a meeting, then do it. Every time you keep your word, you strengthen trust in yourself. Every time you break your word without reason, you weaken that trust. Self-confidence grows from self-respect. Accept that some conversations will not go well. Someone may disagree with you. Someone may interrupt you. Someone may misunderstand your point. These moments are part of communication. They do not erase your progress. They simply give you another opportunity to improve your next conversation. Strong speakers recover quickly from mistakes because they do not spend all their energy protecting their pride. If they lose their place, they pause and continue. If they say the wrong word, they correct it and move forward. They do not turn one small error into a complete failure. Your body also affects your confidence. Before an important conversation, stand still for 1 minute. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Lift your head naturally. Place both feet firmly on the ground. Take 3 slow breaths. Physical steadiness helps create mental steadiness. You cannot always calm your thoughts directly, but you can often calm your body first. Notice how confident people listen. They do not rush to interrupt. They do not constantly search for the perfect reply while someone else is speaking. They pay attention. They answer what was actually said. Good listening reduces pressure because it keeps your focus on the conversation instead of on yourself. There was a woman named Sarah who avoided speaking during weekly team meetings. She believed everyone else was smarter than she was. One day she made a simple decision. She would prepare one useful idea before every meeting and share it, no matter how nervous she felt. During the first meeting, her voice shook. She still finished her point. Nobody laughed. Nobody criticized her. The following week, she did the same thing. After several weeks, her manager began asking for her opinion because her ideas were clear and practical. Sarah did not become confident overnight. She became confident because she repeatedly acted despite feeling uncertain. This is how real confidence grows. It is quiet. It is steady. It is built through repeated responsibility. You do not need to become the loudest person in the room. You only need to become someone who speaks with honesty when it is your turn. People often think confidence changes the way you speak. In reality, the habit of speaking changes your confidence. Every conversation becomes another practice session. Every sentence becomes another chance to improve. Every small success becomes proof that you are becoming stronger than your old habits. From this moment forward, stop asking whether you feel ready. Ask whether you are willing to practice. Stop waiting for fear to disappear. Accept that it may be present and speak anyway. Your challenge is simple. Before this day ends, choose one conversation you would normally avoid. Speak first when the opportunity comes, and finish every sentence without apologizing for your voice or your ideas. Chapter 3. Learn simple words that everyone easily understands. You are explaining something that makes perfect sense to you. You have thought about it for hours. You know every detail. You begin speaking with confidence. After a few minutes, the person in front of you looks confused. They stop you and ask, "What do you mean?" You repeat the same idea, using almost the same words. They still do not understand. You leave the conversation feeling frustrated. You know your idea was good. So why did it fail? The problem was not your knowledge. The problem was that your words made people work too hard to understand you. Many people believe that sounding intelligent means using difficult words. They think long sentences and uncommon vocabulary make them appear more capable. In reality, the opposite is often true. Strong communicators choose words that are easy to understand because they care more about being understood than about sounding impressive. Think about the people you trust the most when they explain something important. A good teacher, a respected leader, a skilled doctor, a successful business owner. The best ones usually speak in a way that feels simple. They do not make you feel small. They do not force you to guess what they mean. They remove confusion instead of creating it. Your brain likes simple language because it saves energy. Every person listening to you is processing your words in real time. They cannot stop the conversation and study every sentence. If your words are too difficult, their attention shifts away from your message. They begin trying to understand your language instead of understanding your idea. Clear communication is an act of respect. When you speak simply, you show that you value the other person's time and attention. You are not asking them to prove how educated they are. You are helping them understand what matters. This does not mean you should avoid learning new words. A larger vocabulary is useful. The skill is knowing when to use it. If a simple word communicates the same meaning as a difficult one, choose the simple word. The goal is not to display everything you know. The goal is to help another person understand what you know. Long sentences also create problems. Many people begin speaking before they know exactly where the sentence will end. They keep adding extra thoughts. By the time they finish, even they have forgotten the original point. Short sentences solve this problem. One sentence should carry one clear idea, then move to the next idea. Another common mistake is trying to say everything at once. You worry that if you leave something out, people will misunderstand you. Instead, you overload them with information. Good speakers give information in small pieces. After each point, they allow the listener time to process it. This makes conversations easier to follow. Simple words also make you sound more confident. Difficult words often create hesitation because you spend extra time deciding whether you are using them correctly. Familiar words come naturally. They allow you to focus on your message instead of your vocabulary. There is another reason people use complicated language. They are afraid of being judged. They believe simple words make them look less intelligent. This fear causes unnecessary pressure. Most people are not judging the difficulty of your vocabulary. They are asking themselves one question: do I understand what this person is saying? If the answer is yes, you have already succeeded. Today, begin with one practical exercise. Pick one topic you know well. It could be your job, your hobby, or something you learned recently. Explain it as if you were talking to a 12-year-old child. Do not talk down to them. Simply remove unnecessary complexity. If they could understand your explanation, most adults will understand it too. After you finish, listen to yourself carefully. Notice every word that feels more complicated than necessary. Ask yourself one simple question: is there an easier word that means the same thing? If the answer is yes, replace it immediately. Your second action starts today as well. Slow down whenever you explain something important. Many people believe speaking quickly makes them sound confident. Usually it has the opposite effect. Fast speech gives people less time to understand your words. Slow speech gives your listener room to think. It also gives you more time to choose better words. Tomorrow, practice replacing difficult words with everyday language. If you normally say something complicated, stop for a moment and ask yourself how you would explain the same idea to a close friend. Friends usually understand each other because they use familiar language. Bring that same habit into every conversation. For example, instead of trying to sound formal, focus on being direct. Instead of speaking around the point, say the point first. If someone asks for more details, then provide them. This keeps your conversations organized and easy to follow. Another useful habit is checking for understanding. After explaining an important idea, pause and ask, "Does that make sense?" Or, "Would you like me to explain that another way?" These questions are not signs of weakness. They are signs that you care about communication instead of performance. This week, pay attention to conversations around you. Notice which people are easiest to understand. Do not focus on who sounds the smartest. Focus on who explains ideas clearly. Listen to their sentence length. Notice their word choice. Observe how often they pause. You will discover that many effective speakers rely on simple language every day. Reading can also improve the way you speak, but choose your reading carefully. Spend time with books and articles written in clear language. Notice how the writer explains ideas step by step. Good writing often becomes good speaking because your brain begins to copy clear patterns. Another valuable habit is removing unnecessary filler from your speech. Sometimes people add extra words because silence feels uncomfortable. They repeat the same point using different sentences. They explain things that everyone already understands. Before speaking, ask yourself if every sentence adds something useful. If it does not, leave it out. You should also avoid speaking just to fill empty space. A short answer is often stronger than a long explanation. If someone asks a simple question, give a simple answer. Extra words do not always create extra value. Remember that people are listening with different levels of knowledge. Some know a lot about the topic. Others know almost nothing. Speaking simply allows both groups to follow you. Those with more experience will still understand. Those with less experience will not feel left behind. Do not confuse simple language with weak thinking. They are different things. In fact, explaining difficult ideas in simple words usually requires deeper understanding. When you truly understand something, you can remove unnecessary details without losing the main point. You will also notice that clear language improves your confidence. When your listener understands you quickly, the conversation flows naturally. You stop worrying about whether your words are correct. Your attention shifts toward helping instead of proving yourself. There was a young manager named Daniel who often gave long explanations during team meetings. His employees looked confused, and they regularly asked him to repeat instructions. Daniel thought they were not paying attention. One day he changed his approach. Before every meeting, he wrote his message using only short sentences and everyday words. Instead of giving 5 minutes of explanation, he spoke for 2 minutes. He stopped after each important point and asked if anyone had questions. Within a few weeks, fewer mistakes happened at work because everyone understood what they needed to do. Daniel did not become more knowledgeable, he became easier to understand. This is what strong communication looks like. It is not loud, it is not complicated, it is useful. People leave the conversation knowing exactly what you meant. They do not waste time guessing your message. Speaking simply also builds trust. When people understand you easily, they believe you are honest. They feel comfortable asking questions. They know you are trying to help instead of impress them. Trust grows when communication becomes clear. There will always be people who use difficult words to appear important. You do not need to compete with them. Stay focused on your responsibility. Speak so clearly that people remember your message instead of your vocabulary. That habit will serve you in conversations, meetings, interviews, friendships, and every other part of your life. Starting today, measure your success differently. Do not ask yourself whether you sounded intelligent. Ask yourself whether the other person understood your point without confusion. If they did, you succeeded. Your challenge is simple. Before this day ends, have one conversation where you deliberately use only short sentences and everyday words. Do not try to impress anyone. Make your only goal helping the other person understand you completely. Chapter 4. Practice speaking clearly every single day without fear. You wake up with good intentions. You tell yourself that today you will speak more. Today you will ask the question during the meeting. Today you will share your opinion instead of staying quiet. Then the opportunity comes. Someone asks if anyone has an idea. You know exactly what you want to say. A few seconds pass. Another person starts talking first. The conversation moves forward without you. Once again, you promise yourself that next time will be different. Days turn into weeks, and nothing changes because the habit of silence has become stronger than your intention to speak. Many people believe they need one big moment to become confident speakers. They wait for an important presentation or a major meeting. They think that one successful performance will change everything. Real improvement almost never works that way. Strong speaking is built through ordinary conversations repeated many times. Small actions performed every day create lasting change. Your brain learns through repetition. It does not care whether the conversation happens in a boardroom or at a grocery store. Every time you speak clearly, your brain collects evidence that communication is safe. Every time you avoid speaking, your brain collects evidence that silence is the better choice. Your daily habits shape your future more than your occasional efforts. Fear also becomes a habit. If you avoid speaking whenever you feel uncomfortable, your mind connects discomfort with danger. The next conversation feels even more difficult. The fear grows because it has never been challenged. The only way to weaken that habit is to speak while the fear is still present. This does not mean forcing yourself into situations that overwhelm you. Growth happens step by step. If you have been silent for years, your first goal does not need to be giving a 30-minute presentation. Your first goal can be asking one question, sharing one opinion, starting one conversation. Small victories create the foundation for bigger ones. Many people make another mistake. They only practice speaking when they have no choice. They wait until a meeting, an interview, or a presentation forces them to speak. That is like trying to build strength only on the day you need to lift something heavy. Practice belongs in ordinary life, not only during important moments. Speaking is a skill. Skills improve with regular use. You would never expect to play an instrument well without practice. You would never expect to become physically fit after exercising once a month. Speaking follows the same rule. Daily repetition creates steady improvement. Today, begin with the easiest exercise. Speak out loud for 5 minutes when you are alone. Choose a simple topic from your own life. Describe what you did this morning. Explain your plans for tomorrow. Talk about something you learned recently. The topic does not matter. The habit does. Your goal is to become comfortable turning thoughts into spoken words. While speaking, pay attention to one thing only. Finish every sentence before beginning another. Many people interrupt themselves because they think of a better way to say something. Resist that habit. Complete the sentence you started. This trains your mind to organize ideas instead of chasing them. After those 5 minutes, stop talking and think for 1 minute. Ask yourself 3 simple questions. Did I speak too fast? Did I finish my thoughts? Did I understand my own message? Keep your answers honest but calm. You are observing, not criticizing. Tomorrow, increase the challenge slightly. Find 3 opportunities to start a conversation instead of waiting for someone else to begin. Say good morning first. Ask a coworker how their day is going. Speak to the cashier instead of remaining silent. These conversations may seem small, but they teach your brain something important. You are becoming someone who speaks instead of someone who waits. During those conversations, focus on listening just as much as speaking. Clear communication is never one-sided. Listen until the other person finishes. Then answer their words instead of thinking about your next sentence while they are still talking. This makes your replies more natural and reduces pressure because your attention stays on the conversation rather than on yourself. The following day, add another habit. Read 1 page from a book or an article out loud. Read slowly. Pronounce every word clearly. Pause naturally at the end of each sentence. Reading aloud strengthens your voice, improves your pace, and helps you become more comfortable hearing yourself speak. Do not rush through the page. Speed is not the goal. Clarity is. If you make a mistake, stop. Repeat the sentence correctly. Then continue. This teaches your brain that mistakes are normal and easy to recover from. This week, choose 1 conversation every day where you deliberately slow your speech. Most people speak faster when they become nervous. Your task is to do the opposite. Speak just a little slower than feels natural. Give yourself enough time to think between sentences. Most listeners will appreciate your pace because it is easier to follow. You should also begin recording yourself for 2 or 3 minutes each day. Talk about anything that interests you. Listen to the recording once. Do not focus on whether you like your voice. Almost everyone feels uncomfortable hearing themselves at first. Instead, ask practical questions. Was my message clear? Did I pause too often? Did I speak too quickly? Pick 1 small improvement for tomorrow. Avoid trying to fix everything at once. If you notice 5 weaknesses, choose only 1. Improvement becomes easier when your attention stays focused. Small progress repeated consistently creates large results over time. Another valuable habit is speaking before you feel completely ready. Many people wait for perfect confidence before opening their mouths. That day rarely comes. Confidence grows after action, not before it. If you have something useful to say, speak while your heart is still beating fast. Your body will calm down through experience. You also need to accept that some conversations will feel awkward. You may forget a word. You may pause longer than expected. Someone may disagree with you. None of these moments mean you are failing. They are simply part of learning. Every skilled speaker has experienced them many times. Pay attention to the words you use with yourself after a conversation. Many people leave a discussion and immediately search for everything they did wrong. They ignore everything that went well. This habit damages confidence. Replace harsh judgment with honest review. Ask yourself 1 question. What is 1 thing I can do slightly better next time? Then move forward. Discipline matters more than motivation. Some days you will feel excited to practice. Other days you will not. Practice anyway. Waiting for the perfect mood creates inconsistency. Consistency creates growth. 5 minutes every day is far more valuable than 1 hour once a month. You should also learn to separate your performance from your identity. If one conversation goes badly, it does not mean you are a bad speaker. It means one conversation went badly, nothing more. Treat each new conversation as a fresh opportunity instead of carrying old mistakes into the present. There was a young employee named Michael who rarely spoke during meetings. He worried that his ideas were not good enough. He decided to build a simple daily habit. Every morning he spent 5 minutes speaking out loud about his plans for the day. During lunch he started one conversation with a coworker. In every meeting he asked at least one thoughtful question. At first, these actions felt uncomfortable. After several weeks, speaking became normal instead of stressful. His co-workers began asking for his opinions because they noticed he communicated clearly and calmly. Michael did not change because his fear disappeared. He changed because his daily habits became stronger than his fear. That is how lasting confidence develops. It grows quietly. It grows through repetition. It grows when you choose action instead of excuses. You do not need dramatic changes. You need steady practice that continues even when no one is watching. Remember that your voice becomes stronger every time you use it. Your thoughts become clearer every time you express them. Your confidence becomes more stable every time you keep your promise to practice. Progress does not arrive all at once. It arrives through ordinary days used wisely. You cannot control whether every person agrees with you. You cannot control whether every conversation goes perfectly. You can control whether you show up ready to practice. You can control whether you speak with honesty. You can control whether you continue improving one day at a time. From now on, stop treating speaking as something you do only when it is required. Treat it as a daily skill that deserves regular attention. Give it a few minutes every day. Protect that habit. Build it patiently. Over time, you will notice that the situations which once made you nervous begin to feel familiar. Your challenge is simple. Before this day ends, spend 5 minutes speaking out loud when you are alone. Start one conversation you would normally avoid, and finish every sentence calmly without rushing, even if you still feel afraid. Chapter 5. Stop weak speech that confuses other people quickly. You finish explaining something that seemed perfectly clear in your mind. You stop talking and wait for a response. The person across from you looks uncertain. They ask, "Can you explain that again?" You repeat the same idea, but you add more words this time. They become even more confused. The conversation gets longer, not better. You leave thinking the other person was not paying attention. The truth may be different. Your message was buried under unnecessary words, uncertain language, and unclear direction. This happens more often than people realize. Weak speech is not about having a quiet voice. It is not about being shy. Weak speech happens when your words fail to carry your idea from your mind to another person's mind. The listener has to work too hard to understand you. When communication becomes difficult, attention disappears. Many people confuse talking more with communicating better. They believe adding extra explanations will make their point stronger. Usually, the opposite happens. Every unnecessary sentence increases the chance that your listener forgets the main idea. Strong communication removes confusion instead of adding information. Another common problem is speaking without deciding your main point first. Your thoughts arrive faster than your words, so you begin talking while still organizing your ideas. One sentence goes in one direction. The next sentence changes direction. Soon your listener no longer knows where the conversation is going. They are not confused because your idea is difficult. They are confused because your structure is missing. Uncertainty also appears through weak language. Listen to how many people speak. They often say things like, "I guess," "Maybe I'm wrong," "This might not make sense," or "I'm not sure but." Sometimes those words are honest. Often they are simply habits. When you apologize for your idea before sharing it, you reduce its strength before anyone has even heard it. This does not mean you should pretend to know everything. Honest people admit when they do not know an answer. There is a difference between honesty and unnecessary doubt. If you know your point, speak it clearly. If you do not know something, simply say, "I don't know." Both responses show confidence because they are truthful. Weak speech also comes from trying to satisfy everyone at once. You keep changing your message because you worry someone may disagree. You soften every opinion until nothing meaningful remains. Clear communication requires responsibility. Say what you believe is true. Accept that not everyone will agree. Agreement is outside your control. Clarity is within your control. Many people also fill conversations with repeated words. They explain the same idea 3 different ways because they fear they were not understood. Instead of helping, repetition often creates frustration. Your listener begins wondering whether there is a new point coming. If your first explanation was clear, trust it. If someone needs more detail, they will ask. Today, begin with a simple exercise. Before every important conversation, write your main point in one short sentence. Read it once. Then close the paper. During the conversation, focus on communicating that single sentence in your own words. If you stay connected to your main idea, your conversation will naturally become clearer. As you speak, pay attention to how often you use uncertain phrases. If you hear yourself saying, "maybe," "kind of," "sort of," or "I think," without a good reason, stop. Replace those habits with direct language. Instead of saying, "I kind of believe this could help," say, "I believe this will help." Remove unnecessary hesitation. This does not mean speaking with arrogance. Confidence and arrogance are different. Confident people express their ideas clearly while remaining open to new information. Arrogant people refuse to listen. Your goal is confidence supported by humility. Tomorrow, practice shortening your answers. Ask a friend or family member to ask you simple questions. Answer each question in 3 sentences or fewer. This exercise teaches you to reach the point quickly without losing meaning. If they ask for more details, then provide them. Do not assume every answer must include every fact you know. You should also begin noticing filler words. Words like you know, like, and repeated phrases often appear when your brain needs time. Instead of filling the silence, pause. A short silence sounds stronger than unnecessary words. It also gives your listener time to process your message. The next day, focus on your endings. Many people begin sentences confidently, but let their voices become quieter near the end. Their final words almost disappear. Finish every sentence with the same calm volume you used at the beginning. This makes your message easier to hear and easier to remember. This week, choose one conversation every day where your goal is not to say more, but to say less with greater purpose. Before speaking, ask yourself one question. Does this sentence move my message forward? If the answer is no, leave it out. Discipline in communication often means removing words instead of adding them. Another habit that weakens communication is answering questions you were never asked. Someone asks one simple question. You immediately begin explaining 5 related topics. Your listener only wanted one answer. Respect their attention. Give them what they asked for first. Additional information can come later if it is needed. You should also stop correcting yourself every few seconds. Some people interrupt their own sentences repeatedly because they are searching for perfect wording. The conversation becomes difficult to follow. Choose reasonable words, finish the thought, and continue. Perfection slows communication. Progress keeps it moving. Remember that your listener cannot read your mind. They only know what you actually say. If your message is hidden behind extra words, they may misunderstand you even when your intentions are good. Responsibility means making your ideas easy to receive. Your body language also affects clarity. Face the person you are speaking with. Keep steady eye contact without staring. Relax your shoulders. Avoid constant movements that distract from your message. Calm actions support calm speech. People listen more carefully when your words and your behavior match. Do not be afraid of short pauses. Silence gives your ideas room to breathe. It also shows that you are choosing your words carefully instead of speaking without direction. Strong speakers are comfortable with brief moments of quiet because they know communication is not a race. Pay attention to how effective leaders answer difficult questions. They rarely begin with long explanations. They state the main answer first, then they explain why. This structure helps people follow even complicated discussions. You can use the same habit in everyday life. There was a customer service supervisor named Emma who often struggled during staff meetings. Whenever someone asked a question, she gave long answers filled with extra details. Her team left the meetings unsure about what to do next. She decided to change one habit. Before answering any question, she silently asked herself, "What is the most important point?" She spoke that point first and stopped when it was complete. If someone wanted more information, they asked for it. Within a month, her meetings became shorter and her team made fewer mistakes because everyone understood the instructions the first time. Emma did not become a better communicator by talking more. She became better by removing what was unnecessary. Clarity grew because she respected other people's attention. That respect made her words more valuable. The same principle applies to every conversation you have. Your family, your friends, your co-workers, and even strangers appreciate communication that is easy to follow. They do not expect perfect speeches. They expect honest, organized thoughts delivered with calm confidence. Strong communication is not measured by how long you speak. It is measured by how well your message is understood. If people clearly understand your point, your words have done their job. If they leave confused, adding more words is rarely the answer. Better structure is usually the answer. You cannot control whether every person agrees with your ideas. You cannot control how every conversation ends. You can control whether your words are direct, honest, and organized. That responsibility belongs to you every time you open your mouth. From this moment forward, stop measuring success by how much you said. Measure it by how clearly your listener understood your message. Speak with purpose. Remove unnecessary words. Trust simple language. Finish your thoughts without apologizing for them. Your challenge is simple. Before this day ends, have one conversation where you answer every question directly, remove unnecessary filler words, pause instead of rushing, and stop speaking the moment your main point has been clearly understood. Chapter 6. Develop calm discipline through consistent speaking practice every day. The alarm goes off. You get ready for the day. Before leaving your home, you tell yourself that today you will practice speaking better. You will slow down. You will express your thoughts clearly. You will stop hiding behind silence. Then the day becomes busy. Work demands your attention. Messages keep arriving. Small problems take your focus. By evening, you realize you never practiced at all. You tell yourself you will start tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. The desire to improve is still there, but the habit has never been built. This is how many goals disappear. Not because people lack ability, not because they do not care. They disappear because good intentions are not supported by daily discipline. Speaking clearly is no different. You cannot improve only when you feel inspired. You improve when you practice even on ordinary days. Discipline often sounds difficult because people think it requires huge effort. In reality, discipline is simply doing what you decided to do, even when your feelings change. Some mornings you will feel motivated, other mornings you will not. If your actions depend only on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent. Your speaking ability reflects your daily habits more than your natural talent. Every conversation teaches your brain something. If you regularly avoid speaking, your brain learns that silence is normal. If you regularly express your thoughts with care, your brain learns that communication is part of your identity. Many people search for quick improvement. They watch one lesson, they read one article, they practice for a day or two. When they do not see immediate results, they stop. This is one of the biggest mistakes. Lasting improvement grows slowly because your habits are changing. Habits take time to become natural. Think about any skill you admire. Nobody becomes skilled through one day of effort. The same truth applies here. Speaking well is built through hundreds of small moments that most people never notice. A calm answer, a thoughtful question, a clear explanation, a patient pause. These ordinary actions slowly create extraordinary communication. Another mistake is practicing only before important events. You rehearse before an interview or a presentation, then stop practicing afterward. This creates unnecessary pressure because every important event feels like a test. Daily practice removes that pressure. Important conversations simply become another chance to use skills you already exercise every day. Today, create a simple routine that you can repeat without difficulty. Set aside 10 minutes. Choose the same time each day if possible. During those 10 minutes, speak out loud about any topic. Describe your plans. Explain something you learned. Share your thoughts about a recent experience. The topic matters far less than the consistency. Keep your practice simple. Do not search for perfect material. Your goal is to train your mouth and your mind to work together. The more often you do this, the more natural speaking becomes. After your 10 minutes, spend 2 minutes reviewing yourself. Ask only 3 questions. Did I speak clearly? Did I stay calm? Did I finish every thought? Write your answers in a notebook if you like. Keep them short. 1 sentence is enough. This creates a record of your progress without making the process complicated. Tomorrow, add another habit. During one conversation, focus completely on your pace. Speak just a little slower than usual. You may feel as if you are speaking too slowly. Most listeners will hear you as calm and thoughtful. Nervous speakers often move too quickly because they want the conversation to end. Disciplined speakers stay present until their message is complete. The next day, practice listening with the same discipline. Many people think speaking is only about talking. It is not. Listening well improves your speaking because it teaches you to respond instead of react. Allow the other person to finish completely before answering. Do not interrupt. Use the pause to organize your first sentence. This week, choose one habit to strengthen instead of trying to improve everything. Maybe you want to reduce filler words. Maybe you want to finish your sentences. Maybe you want to maintain better eye contact. Focus on that one habit for 7 days. Concentrated effort produces stronger results than scattered attention. Keep your expectations realistic. Some days will feel easier than others. Some conversations will go well, others will not. Your responsibility is not to perform perfectly every time. Your responsibility is to return to your practice the next day. Discipline means continuing after both success and failure. You should also protect your practice from excuses. The mind is very creative when it wants to avoid discomfort. It will tell you that you are too tired, too busy, or that one missed day does not matter. One missed day may not seem important, but repeated missed days quietly destroy consistency. When your practice is short and simple, excuses lose much of their power. There is another important lesson. Do not confuse activity with improvement. Speaking for hours without paying attention to your habits may not help you very much. Purposeful practice creates progress. During every practice session, choose one thing to improve. Keep your attention there until the session ends. Your emotions will also change from day to day. Some mornings you will feel confident. Other mornings you may doubt yourself. Do not let those emotions decide whether you practice. Feelings are temporary. Habits create lasting results. When discipline becomes stronger than emotion, your growth becomes more reliable. Pay attention to how you respond after making mistakes. Many people become discouraged because they expect constant improvement. Growth rarely follows a straight line. Some days you will perform worse than the day before. That does not erase your progress. It simply reminds you that learning is not perfect. You should also avoid comparing your progress with other people. Someone else may improve faster. Someone else may have more experience. Their progress does not change your responsibility. Focus on becoming slightly better than you were yesterday. That comparison is fair because it depends only on your own effort. Good discipline also includes rest. If you are physically exhausted, your attention and communication will suffer. Sleep well. Take care of your health. Drink enough water. Your voice and your mind both perform better when your body is supported. Another valuable habit is preparing before important conversations instead of hoping everything will work out naturally. Spend a few minutes thinking about your main point. Practice your opening sentence once or twice. This is not about memorizing every word. It is about entering the conversation with direction instead of uncertainty. You will also notice that disciplined speakers remain calm during unexpected moments. They do not panic when someone asks a difficult question. They pause, think, and answer honestly. Their calm comes from repeated practice, not from luck. Because they have trained themselves daily, they trust their ability to respond. There was a sales manager named James who struggled during client meetings. Some days he communicated well. Other days he became nervous and spoke too quickly. His results were inconsistent because his preparation was inconsistent. He decided to create one daily routine. Every morning before work, he spent 10 minutes speaking out loud about a business topic. Every afternoon, he reviewed one conversation and wrote down one thing to improve. He followed this routine for 3 months without missing a week. Gradually, his meetings became calmer. Clients understood him more easily. His confidence increased because his discipline became stronger than his emotions. James did not wait until he felt ready. He became ready because he practiced. His improvement was not dramatic from one day to the next. It was steady. Small improvements collected until they became impossible to ignore. That is how lasting communication skills are built. They are not created through rare moments of inspiration. They are created through ordinary routines, repeated with patience. Every practice session strengthens your habits. Every completed conversation teaches you something useful. Remember that discipline is a form of self-respect. Every time you keep your promise to practice, you prove to yourself that your growth matters. Trust in yourself grows because your actions match your intentions. This quiet trust becomes visible every time you speak. You cannot control whether every conversation goes smoothly. You cannot control whether everyone agrees with your ideas. You can control whether you continue practicing with honesty and consistency. That choice belongs to you every single day. From now on, stop waiting for the perfect moment to improve your speaking. Build a routine that works even on busy days. Protect that routine. Trust the process instead of chasing quick results. Calm communication grows from calm discipline. Your challenge is simple. Before this day ends, set aside 10 uninterrupted minutes to practice speaking out loud. Write down one habit you will improve every day this week, and keep that promise to yourself whether you feel motivated or not. Chapter 7. Strengthen listening skills before giving better responses every time. You are sitting with a group of people. Someone begins explaining a problem they are facing. Before they finish, you already know what you want to say. You prepare your answer while they are still talking. The moment they stop, you begin speaking. Halfway through your response, they interrupt and say, "That's not what I meant." You realize you answered the words you expected to hear instead of the words they actually said. The conversation becomes awkward. You leave wondering why good conversations often seem harder than they should be. This happens because many people believe communication is mostly about speaking. In reality, speaking is only half of the process. The quality of your response depends on the quality of your listening. If your listening is weak, your words will often miss the real point. Most people do not listen to understand, they listen to reply. While another person is talking, their mind is busy preparing arguments, defending opinions, or searching for the perfect answer. Their ears are open, but their attention is somewhere else. As a result, they miss important details. Your brain naturally wants to predict what comes next. This saves time in everyday life, but it creates problems during conversations. After hearing only a few words, your mind starts completing the other person's sentences. Sometimes you are correct, many times you are not. When you assume instead of listening, misunderstandings become common. Another reason people struggle with listening is impatience. Silence feels uncomfortable. Waiting feels slow. Many people believe quick responses make them look intelligent. The truth is often the opposite. Calm responses usually come from careful listening. Fast responses often come from incomplete understanding. Strong communicators are patient. They allow another person to finish completely before they begin speaking. They understand that listening is not passive. It requires attention, discipline, and self-control. Listening well is an active skill. There is another obstacle: your own emotions. If someone says something you dislike, your mind immediately reacts. You become defensive. You stop listening because you are busy protecting your opinion. Once emotions take control, understanding becomes much harder. A disciplined person notices this reaction without obeying it. You may disagree with someone, but you can still hear their complete message. Listening does not mean agreement. It simply means giving another person the chance to fully express their thoughts before you respond. Many conversations become arguments because people answer too early. They respond to one sentence instead of the entire message. Important information often comes near the end of what someone is saying. If you interrupt, you never hear it. Today, begin with one simple exercise. During your next conversation, make one promise to yourself. Do not interrupt once. No matter how strongly you want to speak, wait until the other person finishes completely. Count 2 silent seconds after they stop talking. Then begin your response. Those 2 seconds create space for better thinking. As you listen, focus on understanding the main idea instead of remembering every detail. Ask yourself one question: what is this person really trying to tell me? This keeps your attention on the message instead of getting lost in small details. While they are speaking, keep your eyes on them. Notice their words, notice their tone, notice whether they sound excited, worried, frustrated, or calm. People communicate through more than vocabulary. Their voice often tells you how important something is to them. Tomorrow, practice repeating the other person's point before giving your opinion. You can simply say, "If I understand correctly, you are saying," then explain their idea in your own words. Wait for them to confirm that you understood correctly. Only then share your response. This habit may feel slow at first. In reality, it saves time because it prevents misunderstandings. Many long arguments begin because 2 people are discussing different ideas without realizing it. The next day, pay attention to your urge to interrupt. Every time you feel that urge, notice it without acting on it. Remind yourself that your idea can wait for another few seconds. Most thoughts are not as urgent as they feel. This week, choose one conversation every day where your main goal is listening instead of speaking. Ask more questions than you normally would. Keep those questions simple. Can you explain that? What happened next? Why do you think that? These questions encourage people to continue instead of shutting down. Asking questions also improves your own speaking. The more information you receive, the more accurate your response becomes. Good answers usually begin with good questions. Another important habit is avoiding assumptions. Do not believe you know what someone means after hearing only the first sentence. Give them enough time to complete their thought. Many misunderstandings disappear when people simply allow each other to finish speaking. You should also stop planning your next sentence while someone else is talking. This habit divides your attention. Instead, give your full focus to the speaker. Trust yourself to think of a response after they finish. Your brain works better when it handles one task at a time. Listening also requires humility. Sometimes another person knows something you do not know. Sometimes they see a problem from a different perspective. If you believe you already have every answer, you stop learning. Humility keeps your mind open. Strong leaders understand this principle. They often ask questions before giving instructions. They gather information before making decisions. They know that better information usually leads to better choices. Another useful practice is noticing emotional words. If someone repeatedly says they are worried, disappointed, excited, or frustrated, pay attention. Those emotions are part of the message. Responding only to the facts while ignoring the emotions often leaves people feeling unheard. Do not confuse listening with silence. Some people remain quiet without paying attention. Real listening requires effort. You stay mentally present. You follow the conversation. You seek understanding instead of simply waiting for your turn. Your body language also affects your listening. Face the speaker. Keep comfortable eye contact. Avoid looking at your phone or around the room. Small actions communicate respect. When people feel respected, they usually communicate more openly. Remember that every conversation teaches you something. Even when you disagree with another person's opinion, you can still learn why they think that way. Understanding another perspective does not require accepting it. It simply requires listening carefully. There was a project manager named Olivia who often solved problems too quickly. During team meetings, she interrupted employees because she believed she already understood their concerns. As a result, small problems became larger because important details were missed. She decided to change one habit. Before offering any solution, she asked each person to finish explaining without interruption. Then she repeated the problem in her own words before responding. Within a few weeks, her team trusted her more because they felt heard. Meetings became shorter because misunderstandings became less common. Olivia did not become a better leader by talking more. She became a better leader by listening first. This change also improved her confidence. She no longer worried about giving the wrong answer because she understood the problem more clearly before speaking. Careful listening gave her stronger responses. You will discover the same pattern in your own life. Better listening creates better conversations. Better conversations create stronger relationships. Strong relationships grow from mutual understanding rather than constant agreement. You cannot control whether another person always listens to you. You cannot force anyone to understand your message. You can control how well you listen before speaking. That responsibility belongs entirely to you. From now on, treat listening as part of speaking instead of something separate. Every thoughtful response begins with careful attention. Every meaningful conversation begins with respect. The discipline to remain silent for a few extra seconds often produces words that are wiser, calmer, and more useful. Your challenge is simple. Before this day ends, have one conversation where you do not interrupt even once. Repeat the other person's main point before sharing your opinion, and ask at least one thoughtful question before giving your final response. Jump to 8. Create trust through honest, respectful, and confident conversations daily. You are talking with someone you work with. They ask for your opinion about an important decision. You know what you really think, but instead of saying it clearly, you give a safe answer that cannot offend anyone. You smile. They smile. The conversation ends politely. Later, you hear that they made the wrong decision because they never understood your real concern. You realize you protected the moment instead of helping the person. The conversation felt comfortable, but it was not honest. Trust became weaker because your words did not match your thoughts. Many people believe trust is built through kindness alone. Kindness matters, but it is not enough. Real trust grows when kindness is combined with honesty. If people never know what you truly think, they can never fully trust your words. They may enjoy talking with you, but they will not know whether your answers are genuine. Honesty does not mean saying everything that comes into your mind. Honest communication also requires discipline. Before speaking, ask yourself 2 questions. Is it true? Is it useful? If the answer to both questions is yes, speak clearly. If not, silence is often the better choice. Some people avoid honesty because they fear conflict. They worry that disagreement will damage relationships. In reality, respectful disagreement often strengthens relationships because people know they are hearing the truth. Constant agreement may feel peaceful for a while, but hidden opinions eventually create larger problems. Trust also disappears when your words change depending on who is listening. If you tell one person one story and another person something completely different, people begin questioning your reliability. A trustworthy person speaks with consistency. Their values remain steady regardless of the audience. Another habit that damages trust is making promises too quickly. Many people say yes because they want to be liked. Later, they fail to keep their word. Every broken promise weakens confidence in your character. It is better to make fewer promises and keep every one of them than to make many promises you cannot fulfill. People do not expect perfection. They expect reliability. They want to know that your words have meaning. When you say you will do something, they believe you. That belief is earned through repeated action, not through impressive speeches. Respect is another foundation of trust. Respect begins long before you speak. It begins with how you listen. It continues with how you respond. You do not insult people because they disagree with you. You do not raise your voice simply because your emotions become stronger. Calm respect allows difficult conversations to remain productive. Many arguments become personal because people stop discussing ideas and begin attacking each other. Strong communicators separate the two. You can disagree with an opinion while still respecting the person who holds it. This requires emotional discipline, especially when conversations become difficult. Today, begin with one simple habit. During every important conversation, speak only what you genuinely believe. Do not exaggerate to impress people. Do not hide important facts because you fear temporary discomfort. Speak honestly using calm words. Truth delivered with respect is easier for people to receive. At the same time, avoid unnecessary harshness. Some people use honesty as an excuse for rude behavior. They say, "I'm just being honest," after speaking without kindness. That is not strength. Real strength is telling the truth in a way that protects another person's dignity. After expressing your opinion, remain open to listening. Honest communication is not a competition. It is an exchange. Another person may have information you do not have. Confidence allows you to change your mind when new facts appear. Stubbornness refuses to learn. Tomorrow, practice keeping one small promise to yourself and one small promise to another person. Maybe you promise to make a phone call. Maybe you promise to complete a task before the end of the day. Whatever you promise, finish it. Trust begins with consistency. Every completed promise strengthens your reputation. The next day, focus on removing unnecessary apologies from your speech. Many people apologize simply for expressing reasonable opinions. They say, "Sorry, but I think," even when no apology is needed. Respectful confidence allows you to speak without asking permission to have a thoughtful idea. This week, choose one conversation where you normally avoid giving honest feedback. Prepare your thoughts carefully. Keep your message focused on facts instead of personal attacks. Speak calmly. Give the other person time to respond. Your goal is not to win the conversation. Your goal is to improve understanding. Another valuable habit is admitting mistakes quickly. Many people damage trust because they spend too much energy protecting their pride. If you make an error, acknowledge it. If you forget something, admit it. If you do not know an answer, say so honestly. People often trust those who admit mistakes more than those who pretend to know everything. Avoid gossip whenever possible. Speaking negatively about people who are not present creates doubt. Others begin wondering whether you speak about them in the same way when they leave the room. Protecting another person's reputation also protects your own character. Pay attention to your tone of voice. Sometimes your words are respectful, but your tone communicates irritation or disrespect. Slow down before answering difficult questions. Choose calm words. A steady voice often carries more influence than a loud one. Your actions must also support your words. If you speak about honesty but regularly hide the truth, people notice the difference. If you encourage responsibility but avoid your own responsibilities, your advice loses value. Trust grows when your behavior matches your message. Another important habit is giving people your full attention during conversations. Put away distractions. Look at the person who is speaking. Listen carefully before responding. People feel respected when they know they have your complete attention. Respect creates openness, and openness creates trust. Remember that trust grows slowly. You cannot demand it. You cannot force it. It develops through many ordinary conversations where your words remain honest, respectful, and consistent. Small moments matter. A kept promise, a truthful answer, a patient response. These moments quietly shape how people see you. You should also learn to say no with respect. Some people agree to everything because they fear disappointing others. Eventually, they become overwhelmed and fail to meet their commitments. A respectful no is often more trustworthy than an unreliable yes. Protect your word by making promises you can keep. Do not expect everyone to appreciate your honesty immediately. Some people may disagree with your opinion. Some may prefer easy answers instead of truthful ones. That is outside your control. Your responsibility is to communicate with integrity. Other people's reactions belong to them. There was a team leader named Rachel who struggled because her employees rarely shared problems with her. They feared criticism. Rachel decided to change her communication style. She listened without interrupting. She admitted when she made mistakes. She stopped pretending to have every answer. When she disagreed with someone, she explained her reasons respectfully instead of becoming defensive. Over the next few months, her team became more open. Employees shared concerns earlier because they trusted her responses. Problems were solved faster because honest conversations replaced silent frustration. Rachel did not build trust through perfect speeches. She built trust through daily consistency. Her words matched her actions. Her respect remained steady even during difficult conversations. That consistency made people feel safe enough to be honest in return. You can build the same kind of trust. It does not require a special personality. It requires discipline. Speak truthfully, listen carefully, keep your promises, admit your mistakes, treat people with respect even when opinions differ. These habits are simple, but they are powerful when repeated every day. Your reputation is shaped one conversation at a time. Every interaction teaches people whether your words can be trusted. Over months and years, those small moments become your character in the eyes of others. You cannot control whether everyone trusts you. Some people will not. Some people will misunderstand you despite your best efforts. You cannot control that. You can control whether your communication reflects honesty, respect, and responsibility every single day. From this moment forward, stop asking how to make people like you. Instead, ask how to become someone whose words deserve trust. The second question leads to stronger relationships because it depends on your own actions instead of someone else's approval. Your challenge is simple. Before this day ends, have one conversation where you speak honestly without exaggeration. Listen without interrupting. Keep your tone calm from beginning to end, and leave the other person feeling respected whether they agree with you or not. Chapter 9. Lead important discussions with calm decisions and clear direction. The room becomes quiet. Everyone is waiting for someone to decide what happens next. Different opinions have already been shared. Some people are talking over each other. Others have stopped speaking completely. All eyes slowly turn toward you. You know this is the moment when your words matter most. Instead of speaking clearly, you hesitate. You begin explaining every possible option without choosing one. The discussion becomes even longer. People leave the room unsure about what to do. Nothing moves forward because nobody provided clear direction. Many people believe leadership is about speaking more than everyone else. It is not. Leadership is about helping people move from confusion to clarity. Sometimes that requires only a few well-chosen sentences. The purpose of your words is not to fill silence. The purpose is to help people understand what should happen next. Important discussions often create pressure because the results matter. A family decision, a business meeting, a difficult conversation with a friend, a problem at work. In these moments, emotions become stronger. People worry about making mistakes. They fear choosing the wrong path. That pressure can cause even capable people to lose clarity. The first responsibility of a calm speaker is controlling themselves before trying to guide others. If your emotions are in control, your words will often become rushed or defensive. When your mind is calm, your thinking becomes organized. Clear thinking produces clear direction. You cannot always control what other people say during an important discussion. Some people may interrupt. Some may disagree. Some may become emotional. Those things are outside your control. What remains inside your control is your response. This is where discipline becomes valuable. Many discussions fail because people confuse activity with progress. Everyone is speaking, yet nobody is solving the problem. The conversation moves in circles because no one stops to identify the real issue. Before searching for answers, you must first understand the question. Strong communicators begin by defining the problem in simple language. If everyone understands the problem, finding a solution becomes much easier. If people disagree about the problem itself, no solution will satisfy the group. Another common mistake is trying to solve several problems at once. One discussion turns into 5 different discussions. Attention becomes scattered. Decisions become difficult. Calm leaders keep the conversation focused on one issue until it is resolved. Then they move to the next one. People also lose direction because they fear making decisions. They continue collecting information long after enough information already exists. They hope complete certainty will arrive before they choose. Complete certainty rarely comes. Responsible people make the best decision they can with the information available, then accept responsibility for the outcome. Today, begin with one practical habit. Whenever you enter an important conversation, decide your purpose before you speak. Ask yourself one question. What should be different when this discussion ends? Your answer becomes your direction. Every sentence you speak should move the conversation toward that goal. As people begin sharing their opinions, listen carefully without interrupting. Write down the main points if necessary. This prevents you from reacting too quickly. Careful listening also helps people feel respected, making them more willing to cooperate once a decision is made. When it is your turn to speak, begin with a short summary. Say what everyone already agrees on before discussing the remaining differences. Agreement creates stability. Once people recognize common ground, disagreements become easier to manage. Tomorrow, practice making small decisions more quickly. Choose your lunch without spending 10 minutes comparing every option. Decide when to begin a task instead of delaying. Respond to simple questions directly. These small decisions strengthen your ability to make larger ones without unnecessary hesitation. The next day, practice giving clear instructions. If someone asks what should happen next, answer using simple steps. First, explain the goal. Then, explain the action. Finally, explain when it should happen. Organized communication reduces confusion because people know exactly what is expected. This week, pay attention to conversations that lose direction. Notice what causes the confusion. Did people interrupt each other? Did they begin discussing unrelated topics? Did nobody summarize the discussion before moving forward? Observing these patterns will help you avoid them in your own conversations. Another important habit is asking focused questions. Good questions guide discussions more effectively than long speeches. Instead of asking broad questions that create endless answers, ask specific questions. What is the biggest problem? What solution can we try first? What can we finish today? Specific questions create useful conversations. Avoid making decisions while your emotions are at their strongest. If you feel angry, pause. If you feel overwhelmed, take a slow breath before responding. Strong emotions narrow your attention. Calm thinking widens it. Even a short pause can improve the quality of your judgment. Remember that leadership does not require having every answer. Sometimes your role is simply organizing the conversation so the best answer becomes easier to see. Humility allows you to ask for ideas without feeling weaker. In fact, people often trust leaders who seek understanding before making decisions. You should also learn when to end a discussion. Some conversations continue long after a decision has been made. Repeating the same arguments wastes time and energy. Once the direction is clear, state the decision calmly and move forward. Endless discussion often creates new confusion instead of better solutions. Pay attention to your language during important moments. Replace uncertain phrases with clear ones. Instead of saying, "Maybe we could possibly try this," say, "This is the approach I recommend." If new information appears later, you can adjust your decision. Clarity does not prevent flexibility. Another useful habit is separating facts from opinions. Facts describe what has happened. Opinions describe what you believe should happen. When people confuse the two, discussions become difficult. State the facts first, then explain your opinion. This helps others understand your reasoning. Do not fear disagreement. Good discussions often include different viewpoints. Your responsibility is not to eliminate disagreement. Your responsibility is to keep disagreement respectful and productive. Encourage people to challenge ideas without attacking each other. There will also be moments when you must admit uncertainty. If you do not know something, say so honestly. Then explain what information is still needed. People respect honest uncertainty more than false confidence. Trust grows when your words match reality. There was a department manager named Kevin whose team struggled with long meetings. Everyone shared ideas, but few decisions were made. At the end of each meeting, employees often asked what they were actually supposed to do. Kevin decided to change his approach. At the beginning of every meeting, he stated the main goal in one sentence. After listening to everyone's ideas, he summarized the discussion, chose the next action, assigned clear responsibilities, and confirmed the deadline before ending the meeting. Within a few weeks, meetings became shorter, projects moved faster, and the team felt more confident because everyone knew the direction. Kevin did not become more effective because he spoke longer. He became more effective because he spoke with purpose. He respected people's time by helping them leave each discussion with clarity instead of confusion. You can develop the same habit. Calm leadership begins with calm thinking. Calm thinking produces organized speech. Organized speech helps people make better decisions together. This skill improves your work, your relationships, and every situation where people depend on clear communication. Remember that direction creates confidence. People often feel less anxious when they know what happens next. Even difficult decisions become easier to accept when they are explained honestly and respectfully. Your words can provide that stability. You cannot control every result. Some decisions will succeed. Others will teach valuable lessons. Your responsibility is not to predict the future perfectly. Your responsibility is to think carefully, communicate clearly, and accept responsibility for your choices. From now on, stop measuring conversations by how long they last. Measure them by whether people leave with greater understanding and a clear next step. A discussion has real value only when it moves people toward meaningful action. Your challenge is simple. Before this day ends, lead one conversation by listening completely, summarizing the main issue in one clear sentence, offering a direct recommendation, and ending the discussion with one specific next step that everyone understands. Chapter 10. Continue growing into a confident speaker for life. You finish a conversation that went better than expected. You spoke clearly. You stayed calm. You expressed your thoughts without rushing. As you walk away, you feel proud of yourself. Then, another thought appears. I think I've finally figured it out. A few days later, you face a more difficult conversation. This time you feel nervous again. You hesitate. You lose your place for a moment. When it ends, disappointment returns. You begin wondering if all your progress has disappeared. It has not. You are simply learning an important truth. Growth is never finished. Many people believe there is a point where they will become perfect speakers. They expect one day to arrive when every conversation feels easy, every sentence sounds right, and every answer comes naturally. That day does not exist. Even experienced speakers continue improving. They continue learning because communication changes with every new situation and every new person they meet. This should encourage you, not discourage you. If improvement never ends, then one difficult conversation cannot erase everything you have learned. Progress is measured over months and years, not over a single afternoon. One mistake does not define your ability. One successful conversation does not complete your education. Every day gives you another opportunity to become slightly better. The people who continue growing share one important habit. They stay teachable. They never assume they know everything. They remain curious. After conversations, they ask themselves simple questions. What worked well? What confused the other person? What can I improve tomorrow? These questions keep them moving forward instead of standing still. Pride often becomes the greatest obstacle to long-term growth. Once people receive a few compliments about their speaking, they stop paying attention to their habits. They stop practicing. They stop listening carefully. Improvement slows because learning has stopped. Confidence should never become an excuse to stop developing your skills. There is also another danger: discouragement. Some people expect progress to happen quickly. When improvement feels slow, they believe they are failing. They compare themselves to skilled speakers and forget how far they have already come. Discouragement causes many people to quit just before their habits begin producing lasting results. Growth requires patience. Your habits are changing one conversation at a time. Some improvements are so gradual that you barely notice them. Then one day someone says, "You explain things much more clearly now," or "You sound much more confident than before." Other people often notice your progress before you do. Your responsibility is simple. Continue practicing whether your improvement feels fast or slow. Consistency matters more than speed. A person who practices a little every day will usually improve more than someone who practices intensely for 1 week and then stops. Today, create a habit of reflection. After one meaningful conversation, spend 5 minutes thinking about what happened. Do not criticize yourself. Simply answer 3 questions. What did I do well? What could I improve? What will I practice tomorrow? Keep your answers short. Honest reflection turns experience into learning. Next, continue protecting your daily speaking habit. Even if life becomes busy, spend a few minutes speaking out loud. Explain an idea. Read a page from a book. Practice answering common questions. Small daily practice keeps your skills active and prevents old habits from returning. Tomorrow, ask one trusted person for honest feedback. Choose someone who wants you to succeed. Ask them one simple question. What is one thing I could improve when I speak? Listen without becoming defensive. Feedback is not an attack. It is information that helps you grow. The following day, challenge yourself by entering one conversation you would normally avoid. It may be asking a question during a meeting. It may be sharing an opinion with confidence. It may be speaking to someone new. Growth happens when you gently expand your comfort instead of protecting it. This week, choose one communication skill that still needs work. Maybe you want to slow your pace. Maybe you want to improve your listening. Maybe you want to remove filler words. Focus on that one skill until it becomes stronger. Then move to the next one. Lifelong improvement happens one habit at a time. Remember that communication is not only for work. Every conversation with your family, your friends, your neighbors, and even strangers gives you another chance to practice. Treat ordinary conversations as valuable training instead of waiting only for important opportunities. You should also continue reading and learning from people who communicate clearly. Notice how they organize ideas. Notice how they answer difficult questions calmly. Learn from them without copying their personalities. Your goal is not to sound like someone else. Your goal is to become the clearest version of yourself. As your confidence grows, continue listening with humility. Confident speakers do not dominate every conversation. They know when to speak and when to remain quiet. They understand that learning continues even after years of experience. Do not measure your success by applause or compliments. Those things are outside your control. Measure your success by your own discipline. Did you prepare? Did you speak honestly? Did you listen carefully? Did you remain calm under pressure? These are better questions because they depend on your actions instead of other people's opinions. There will still be conversations that disappoint you. You may forget an important point. You may struggle to explain a difficult idea. Someone may misunderstand you despite your best effort. Accept these moments without losing hope. Every skilled communicator has experienced them. They continued practicing anyway. Your character matters more than your performance. People remember how you treated them. They remember whether you listened with respect. They remember whether your words matched your actions. Good communication begins with good character. Skills become stronger when they rest on honesty, responsibility, and discipline. Continue protecting your health as well. A tired mind struggles to think clearly. A tired body struggles to communicate patiently. Rest, good habits, and regular exercise support clear thinking. Taking care of yourself also helps you take better care of your conversations. You will eventually discover that confident speaking changes more than your words. It changes your decisions. It changes your relationships. It changes the way you handle challenges. When you can explain your thoughts clearly, you solve problems more effectively because confusion becomes smaller. There was a teacher named Robert who spent years improving his communication. At first, he focused only on speaking more confidently in front of his students. As time passed, he realized the lessons reached beyond the classroom. He became a better listener at home. He handled disagreements with more patience. He made decisions more calmly because he learned to organize his thoughts before speaking. After many years, people often told him he was a natural communicator. They never saw the countless small habits he practiced every day. His confidence was not a gift. It was the result of steady effort over a long period of time. Your future can develop in the same way. You do not need extraordinary talent. You need ordinary discipline, repeated consistently. Every conversation becomes another chance to strengthen your habits. Every challenge becomes another lesson. Every mistake becomes another opportunity to improve. Never stop being a student of communication. The moment you believe there is nothing left to learn, your growth slows. Stay curious. Stay responsible. Stay willing to practice, even when progress feels small. The rewards will continue to grow because your habits continue to grow. You cannot control how every conversation ends. You cannot control every opinion people have about you. You cannot control whether everyone agrees with your ideas. Those things will always remain outside your control. What stays within your control is your preparation, your honesty, your discipline, your listening, and your willingness to improve. Years from now, people may not remember every word you said. They will remember how you made them feel. They will remember whether your words were clear, whether your actions matched your promises, and whether they could trust what you said. That reputation is built one conversation at a time. From this day forward, treat communication as a lifelong responsibility instead of a temporary goal. Continue learning, continue practicing, continue listening, continue speaking with calm confidence. Every day offers another opportunity to become a little wiser, a little clearer, and a little more dependable than you were yesterday. Your challenge is simple. Before this day ends, choose one communication habit you will practice every day for the next 30 days. Write it down, keep your promise without making excuses, and allow your daily discipline to shape the confident speaker you continue becoming for the rest of your life.